Accused in his second fatal DUI crash had a valid driver's license which enabled him to rent a car.
Our 8 News Now investigators learning the DMV revoked that license 6 days after police say he got behind the wheel, killing a man again. 8 News Now investigator David Sharns reports.
Sir, I found probable cause for your arrest.
This case is the perfect storm of just about every single failure of our criminal justice system combined into one messy package of a dumpster fire.
That's how prosecutor Noreen DeMonte describes what led up to 50-year-old Prentice Bates facing his second fatal DUI charge.
Good morning. Are you Prentice Bates?
Yes, ma'am.
Bates, seen here in a parole hearing in 2020, served 8 years in prison for killing 58-year-old Jim Burchett in 2012. Bates was high on drugs, driving a car rented to another person.
I made a bad, terrible decision by choosing to operate a motor vehicle while under the influence.
During the hearing, a parole board member notes Bates was never in substance misuse treatment while in custody.
And in your criminal history, a lot of repetitive drug and alcohol crime offenses.
The full board ultimately giving Bates parole 8 years to the day of his first fatal crash.
The man standing in front of you today has transformed immensely.
But prosecutors say Bates did not change. By June of this year, Metro Police charged him with DUI again. That set off the manual process of revoking his driver's license because of his prior DUI conviction. The 8 News Now investigators learning the Nevada Department of Motor Vehicles did not receive that request until August 22nd. The DMV did not process the revocation notice until September 28th. 6 days after police say Bates, once again high on drugs, slammed into 40-year-old DeMar Sims, killing him.
Failure. Utter and complete failure.
Well, a judge had ordered Bates not to drive. DeMonte says having his license pulled in state records could have prevented him from running the car police say he was driving in the latest deadly crash.
Sure, yeah, he'd have had that little card in his hand, but when somebody goes to run that, rental car companies, maybe pulled over by an officer, it's going to show up as revoked.
Bates is in jail awaiting his next court hearing. He is being held without bail. I'm David Sharns, 8 News Now.
Final note here, a spokesperson for the DMV stresses Bates would still have his physical license and that a judge had ordered him not to drive back in June. We've asked why it took 3 months to process, and we're still waiting for a response.